The concept of a Satanic New World Order has been a topic of discussion among conspiracy theorists for decades. According to this ideology, a group of powerful individuals and organizations are secretly working together to create a one-world government that would control every aspect of people's lives. Recently, some proponents of this theory have begun to argue that the issue of global warming is being used as a tool to further the goals of this New World Order. They claim that the propaganda surrounding climate change is being used to oppress individuals and limit their freedoms. One of the main arguments made by those who believe in this conspiracy is that the threat of global warming is being exaggerated or even fabricated in order to justify the implementation of policies that would restrict people's liberties. They point out that many of the proposed solutions to climate change, such as carbon taxes and cap and trade systems, would give governments and international organizations more control over people's lives and economies. For example, the idea of a carbon tax could be used to punish individuals and businesses for their energy consumption, forcing them to conform to certain standards or face financial penalties. Another argument made by proponents of this theory is that the focus on global warming is being used to distract people from other important issues. By creating a sense of urgency and panic around climate change, governments and other powerful organizations can divert attention away from problems such as poverty, inequality, and social injustice. This could allow them to implement policies that would further consolidate their power and wealth, while avoiding scrutiny and criticism. Furthermore, the emphasis on individual actions to reduce carbon footprint, such as recycling and using public transportation, could be seen as a way to shift the blame for environmental problems from corporations and governments to ordinary citizens. Additionally, some people believe that Satanic New World Order is using global warming propaganda to promote a Malthusian agenda, which aims to reduce the world's population and control the remaining resources. They argue that the constant bombardment of climate change warnings and the predicted catastrophic consequences of inaction are designed to create a sense of hopelessness and despair, leading people to accept draconian measures to reduce population growth and consumption. This could include policies such as forced sterilization, abortion, and birth control, as well as the implementation of a one-child policy. The role of international organizations, such as the United Nations, is also seen as a key component of this conspiracy. These organizations are often at the forefront of the global warming debate, pushing for international agreements and treaties that would commit countries to reducing their greenhouse gas emissions. However, some people argue that these agreements are not really about protecting the environment, but rather about establishing a framework for global governance and control. The Paris Agreement, for example, has been criticized for its emphasis on wealth redistribution and its potential to limit the economic growth of developed countries. Despite the claims made by proponents of this conspiracy theory, there is no credible evidence to support the idea that global warming propaganda is being used to further the goals of a Satanic New World Order. The overwhelming scientific consensus is that climate change is a real and urgent problem caused by human activities such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation. The evidence for this includes rising global temperatures, melting glaciers, and increased frequency of extreme weather events. Furthermore, the proposed solutions to climate change, such as transitioning to renewable energy sources and increasing energy efficiency, are based on sound science and economic analysis rather than any sinister plot to control people's lives. In conclusion, while the idea that global warming propaganda is being used to further the goals of a Satanic New World Order may seem compelling to some, it is based on a flawed understanding of the issue and a lack of credible evidence. Climate change is a real and pressing problem that requires a concerted effort to address, and the solutions proposed by scientists and policymakers are based on sound science and a desire to protect the environment and human well-being, rather than any sinister plot to control people's lives.